everybody? This is Cody James the Barker from the NWA, also the leader of Cody Country. You are watching Call TV. Follow these guys on all their socials. Click, like, subscribe, share, and give these guys the respect that they give to you in content.
And salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. I'm Xlj the Og, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, this week hailing from the pond across overseas since we're going to London, Mr. B. Roll.
Jolly good day, y'all. Cheerio, fish and chips, you know, all the good Canucks and okay, I'm gonna stop right now.
I think you're ready for All In.
Yeah, I'm ready for All In or something like that.
You believe it's All In week? How crazy is that? We are here. It is the final countdown, no pun intended, to All In. And man, oh man, it's going to be an awesome weekend of pro wrestling, and we're going to talk about it. But that being said, Mr. B-Roll, last week was an amazing week of wrestling too.
That is right. We have an amazing week and weekend of wrestling ahead, and last week was awesome. And speaking of countdowns, I say the clock starts right now.
Let's get right into it. Our top story this week, the G1 Climax 34 has concluded, and we here at PW60 has finally figured out how the hell this all transpired. Actually, not as complicated as we thought it was going to be. So essentially how it came down to is you had your leaders in A and B block, and then there was a play-in matchup with the other top two competitors in each respective block. So we had a play-in round followed by the semifinals and finals. So let's talk about that play-in round. So surprisingly, in the A block, we had, not surprising, Shingo Takagi, but Great Ohan made it into the final 6 competitors. Now, Shingo Takagi would go on to defeat Great Ohan to go to the semifinals. And in that other matchup, we had Yodo Tsuji against Takeshita from AEW and DDT Pro. And, man, he had an incredible outing in this G1 Climax. But Yodo Tsuji would pick up the win to advance to the semifinals. Now, from there, in the semifinals matchups, in the A block, we had Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Shingo Takagi to advance to the finals, and then Yodo Tsuji defeated David Finlay in the B block to win the respective B block, thus setting up the final matchup of the G1 between Zack Sabre Jr. and one Yodo Tsuji. And we have a winner, and not surprising to us, finally, he gets his just due. Zack Sabre Jr. has won the G1 Climax. And in doing so, Mr. B-Roll, he has made history as he is now the second Gaijin in New Japan Pro Wrestling history to ever win the G1. What do you think of this historic win for Zack Sabre Jr.?
I've always liked Zack Sabre Jr. I guess in some ways you could say long overdue in some ways. I mean, he was a guy, and I just kind of want to say, because I think when they announced the blocks, I maybe said, like, you know, he may come out of his block. So credit where credit's due. But I mean,
hey, shout out to our
knows?
good friend CDC. He called it. He said Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win this thing.
Yeah, but he's also Zack Sabre Jr. Mark, so.
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, he is long overdue. I mean, he has notoriously been one of the best tournament wrestlers in the world today. And for him to win arguably the biggest tournament of them all in the G1 Climax, it's very fitting for one Zack Sabre Jr. And there was some incredible showings throughout the G1, as there always is. Yodo Tsuji, man, going to that final. and thinking he could have made history because he won the New Japan Cup earlier this year. He would have been the first wrestler ever to win the New Japan Cup and the G1. But his career is just getting started. I'm sure he's going to have plenty more G1 finals as well as the G1 climax under his belt. But the Zack Sabre Jr. has won the G1 climax, and of course, he's our wrestler of the week this week here on PW60.
But here's the part that confuses.
Yes, let's talk about it. So, Zack Sabre Jr., during his after during the celebration and whatnot, as tradition in New Japan, when the wrestlers are talking to the crowd, he more or less decided, you know what, I'm not gonna wait to Wrestle Kingdom to challenge for Naito's IWGP Championship, as he has laid down the challenge essentially to meet him here in the next month or something like that. I think it's the next big New Japan show. Now, here's my working theory about this B-roll. I believe Zack Sabre Jr. will, in fact, go on to become the IWGP champion, and I think what the reason they're wanting him to get the strap on him now is because going into Royal Quest over in England, they're going to want him representing New Japan as the IWGP champion.
Yes. As someone here is who is across the pond here, I can confirm that the English would go bananas over that.
Are you Scottish now? I'm so confused. Well, reasons. Well, nonetheless, it was a fun G1 climax. It was we talked about this too. It was kind of it was a different feel to it, a different vibe this year because as we've talked about before with New Japan Pro Wrestling, they are in this rebuilding process. So give them time, let them cook. There's some stars in the making there. I'm excited to see what the Three Musketeers. I'm a little disappointed Shota Umino wasn't even in the talks for the final, but Shooter's still my guy, and I know one day he will be the IWGP champion.
That's right. It's like that's our guy. Like out of the Three Musketeers, I know you and me. It's like Shooter is our favorite, and it's why don't they see what we see?
I know they will someday, though. So Japan, they love their slow builds, but But like I say, and think of how long Zack Sabre Jr. has been relevant and a great competitor over there. Now just winning a G1 climax. So.
Yep.
But man, it's exciting. Congratulations, Zack Sabre Jr. I'm excited to see where we go from here in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Oh man, we got to talk about WWE though, and let's talk about this past week on Friday Night SmackDown, as once again the OTC Roman Reigns returned to pretty much take over his right to be the head of the table, and pretty much he had everything in hand. He had the and I'm sorry, I forget the terminology. For the necklace, is it kahula or hula? I don't know. I butchered that. I apologize. I should know because I'm American Samoan, remember? But anyways, I like how you put your glasses on. Are you going to educate us?
Yes. Well, I do not know the proper way to pronounce it, but I'm going to say this. I had heard reports that it was going to be weeks, maybe months, before Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns ever made contact with each other. What the heck is this?
How'd that work out for you? So, yes, Jacob Fatu shows up and pretty much just dominates. Like, holy shit, this was a moment. And the fact that, here's the crazy thing to me, he did this all in a walking boot. He took out Roman freaking Reigns, the man who has been dominant in the WWE for the past several years, and he came in and single-handedly took over. Like, has there ever been an enforcer in a faction who has dominated and has whipped as much ass as Jacob Fatu? I know it's in a short period of time, but my God, did they do everything right about with the Jacob Fatu booking so far? Like, this is just next level, like, holy shit. Like, they made Jacob... Now, hold on, you fucking Mark. I'm not done yet. Now, they made Jacob Fatu a star. I'm sorry. Go on.
I would like to say that, no, Fax would agree that he has definitely been the most dominant force in a faction.
Okay. God, I can't say that. Look at you with the straight face. I love you, buddy. So there you have it. Yeah, Jacob Fatu, and it looks like Roman's probably going to be gone for a little while now to kind of sell this. But yeah, I think it's going to I think they could so what I'm hearing in rumors, and this is take it with a grain of salt, it sounds like they're potentially going to lead to we've talked about this, the Bloodline Civil War at Survivor Series. Potentially there may be a matchup at Bad Blood between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. We shall see. But I know Roman is off TV for the next several weeks, so it's gonna be interesting to see. But have loved everything they've done with Jacob Fatu so far, and Friday night they freaking killed it, man. This was a great segment. Absolutely loved and adored it. Well, my friend, it's that.
I just want to I want to say one more thing before we go to Dad Hat for some advice. All right?
Oh, you knew.
We're going?
That's
we get
where
some
we're going.
advice. See, I know. I just want to say one more thing. He was in a fucking walking boot.
Yeah, really, he was. He whipped his ass in a fucking walking boot. Are you kidding me? Like, holy shit! And people, you can put your little glasses on for this one. Like, oh well, you know, he made Solo and Tama look bad, whatever. Just fucking sit back and watch this, okay? It's good. This is good shit. Like, this is fucking awesome. Like, you know what? If you look at Roman's reign, what did he have done? He had Solo wreck shop and fuck people up. So, but Jacob's just doing it in a more menacing way. But still, this was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. But as you alluded to, my friend, it is that time of the show. Let's go to Dad Hat with Dad Hat's tip of the week.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids, always remember, patience is key. It's not all about you. It's about taking turns. It's about letting the person in front of you have their turn before you take yours. You don't just get to skip in front of the line. You don't get to say, you know, who cares about the other people who've been waiting? Patience is key.
That's great. Wait a second. Oh! Me Chin from behind with a kendo stick. I wasn't doing that. And Me Chin looking to get the last laugh.
Oh, Dad Hat is so wise. But let's talk about the rest of SmackDown. And as you saw there, Mi Shin breaking up the party of one Queen Nia Jax. It was like her little coronation. That was kind of weird too, wasn't it? I felt like it was definitely more of a Tiffy's party because with the unicorns and the pink and stuff. And Nia even said it's kind of not her bag, but you know, whatever. Pretty deadly singing a musical number is always great television, in my opinion. So, yes, boy. I was all about
yes, that. Boys. Pretty Deadly, the musical.
Yes. But the rest of SmackDown was a solid show. You had Carmelo Anthony finally pick up a win against Andrade, and that.
Oh my gosh! You just said Carmelo Anthony. Hold on.
I did say Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Hayes. Shit.
See here, sir. It's Carmelo Hayes, and he don't miss.
Yes. There. Thank you, Mark. I think you just created a new character tonight. God help us. Also, we got to see the continuation between the Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens story as Cody came to save the day for KO, as A-Town Down Under was about to attack him with some chairs. Blair Davenport going up against Naomi, continuing on that little story there with the Unholy Union going up against them, and Jade and Bianca. Like I say, SmackDown was a solid show. But let's talk about Monday Night Raw and the meme heard around the world. I love the freaking the Damian Priest, like that right there. That's gold right there. That's comedic gold. I love that opening segment. Rhea with that promo, and it was interesting, kind of the back and forth between those two, because whether you love him or hate him, Dominic kind of made some good points, man. And there you go. Mello missed at times. Anthony, not Hayes. But also we got to see the Viper come out of from nowhere, hit Gunther with that RKO. What about the little swerve from CM Punk against Drew there? Kind of throwing him off guard. We also got to finally see kind of that turn from Ivy Nile as she pretty much joined up with the Creed brothers in their war against American Alpha, and that 2 out of 3 falls match for the IC title with Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, and Braun winning 2 straight falls after losing the first fall. What do you make of Monday Night Raw, my friend?
Solid
Yeah.
show. I said
I feel like
solid a
Raw
whole
has
bunch
been
there.
hitting it out of the park here lately. I love both shows, but I feel like I've kind of been enjoying Raw a little bit better here lately.
Yeah, I would agree with those sentiments as well. See, I mean, like my thing with Raw used to be it's like, oh man, it's 3 hours, but like right now it's like 3 pretty gosh darn entertaining
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, it really is, man. Yeah, it's really solid, and as we're going into Bash at Berlin, we got some solid matchups ahead. So this is officially our card as of right now for Bash at Berlin. As you can see here, we have got 3 announced matches so far, and these are all main event caliber matches. As we have got, of course, Randy Orton challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens will challenge Cody Rhodes for that undisputed WWE Championship. And how about it? That big mixed tag match with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan going up against Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. It's looking pretty good. And tonight on Raw, I think we're going to get some additions to that card. So already Bash to Berlin shaping up to be a solid show, and that'll be coming up to you sooner before you know it. I think it's a week from this Saturday, actually, believe it or not. So
Crazy.
it is crazy. Well, let's talk about
wrestling never stops.
it.
Ever.
Never does. And speaking of which, let's talk about NXT from this past Tuesday night. And we have got some new NXT Tag Team Champions as Chase U won the tag team titles as they defeated Axiom and Nathan Frazier. A tremendous matchup. So happy for Chase U. I freaking love Chase U, man. And kind of maybe a little bit of a redemption story here, maybe for Ridge Holland. You know?
Maybe.
So, but I love this. I love everything about them. Honestly, I think Chase U is probably my guilty pleasure, one of my favorite things from NXT. So happy for them, man. We just need to get that women's championship on Theo Hale. I'm just saying. But we also did have another championship change hand as the North American Heritage Cup did come back to one Charlie Dempsey as he defeated Tony D'Angelo. I mean, I like Tony D'Angelo. Honestly, I never for me with Tony, I never was like a huge fan of his until I got to go to the NXT show in Philly, and he really impressed me against Dragunov, and I've enjoyed watching him since then. But yeah, I mean the Heritage Cup. When I think of it, I think of Charlie Dempsey. I mean, this makes perfect sense. I'm surprised it took this long to get it back. In all honesty, but congratulations to him as he is once again the Heritage Cup champion. Let's talk about the rest of NXT from this past week. How about the start of the show with that Ethan Page promo, and then say his name, and even though he didn't get his name today, but still Joe Hendry appeared and looked like he was going to become the challenger, and thus Wesley continues his week of being the biggest dick on NXT as he attacked Joe Hendry. And it does look like we are set up for a matchup to determine the number one contender. What's the next big NXT show? I forget.
Is it No Mercy?
It's No Mercy, isn't it? Yeah. So that matchup, I think that's coming up this week on NXT, but it's like Joe Hendry, Wesley, and there was somebody else in the match, I think. Sorry, there's so much wrestling, it's hard to keep track of everything. But nonetheless, be on the lookout for that. Also, we had Eddie Thorpe and Lexis King continue their kind of weird rivalry. I want to talk about this, though. How about the North American Championship with Obafemi against Otis? That was a fucking awesome matchup. Love that matchup. But we say it here all the time on PW60, man. NXT is killing it every Tuesday. And I can't wait to see the debut that's going to be coming up on the CW coming from Chicago. Oh, yeah. And yes, get ready for Julia Arrivederci. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Julia.
And Stephanie Vicker.
Kerr, man, let's go. Roxanne, I mean, she's been a great champion, but I'm sorry. I think your days are numbered. But we'll have to see what happens there. But I can say overall solid NXT, solid week for the WWE. But you know what, B-roll? It was also a pretty solid week this week for AEW, especially as we are on the road. We are knocking on that door for All In. And let's start off talking about Dynamite. Kicked off with a hell of an opener with Mercedes Moné going up against Hikaru Shida for that TBS championship. My only question is, like, and I love Camille, but like, how dumb were you guys? Like, that looked nothing like Britt Baker. Like, I mean, come on. Like, and then of course Britt shows up attacking Mercedes, getting her hands on her. Also, we got that interesting kind of weird rivalry that's going on between Hangman and like Jeff Jarrett's crew as Hangman went up against Jay Lethal. Of course, Hangman picking up the win there. We also got to see that three-way matchup to determine the number one entrant in the gauntlet match at All In with Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. Of course, Orange Cassidy picking up the win. Got that stare down with Okada and Claudio, which that matchup will be coming to you this week on Dynamite as well. Young Bucks and Acclaimed ended in a schmoz. But I want to talk about that main event. Swerve Strickland against Wheeler Yuta. And at the end of it, man, like, Swerve, just being Swerve, man, he went full-blown heel. It's crazy to me because it's like he is doing such great heel work, but everybody still loves him. And I mean, I get it. But I don't know, bro. After this past week on Dynamite, maybe it's because I'm just not ready to come to the terms that Bryan Danielson could be done. You know, I think that's a big part of it. But man, I'm telling you, I'm enjoying Swerve's title run, but I got to be honest, come Wembley, I'm kind of wanting to see the American Dragon go out on top and get one last run before he hangs that up for good. What'd you think of Dynamite?
You know, this week was like the first Dynamite in a minute where I was like rejuvenated a little bit. This was a really solid show.
Yeah, it was.
Like, was it all home runs and knocked out of the park? No.
No.
But
No.
there wasn't any swings and misses.
Yeah, there really wasn't. I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, there really wasn't. Solid show as we're going into All In. Let's talk about Rampage from Friday night. Now, you could argue kind of a different story here. I mean, I don't know. Just Rampage to me these past couple weeks, I felt good about it, and like it just seems like I don't know. I'm just not into it, man. I just it's okay. It's not bad by any means, but I just feel like if I miss it, I'm okay. You know, it's not a big deal. But you did get the conglomeration go up against the Butcher and the Outrunners, which anytime you get the Outrunners on TV, I'm all for it. Nick Wayne going up against Kip Saban, kind of continuing that little storyline they got going there. And the main event was your boys Top Flight going over on MXM. But I will say this, talking about AEW television, what has improved, I think, drastically over the past couple weeks has been Collision. Because Collision was fucking great Saturday night.
Now, okay, Collision. See, you know what we can attribute this to?
What's that?
Maybe I should put these on for this.
Okay. Oh God, here we go.
Tony Khan clearly watches our show.
Yeah, you think he's listening?
I think so, because we complained about Collision for weeks.
And look at it now. It's a great show. It was an awesome show, man. You're
welcome.
Yeah, there you go. You have Britt Baker kicking it off against Harley Cameron. You also got to see Claudio Castagnoli go up against Leo Rush. Hologram in action. I love what they're doing with Hologram and having him kind of exclusively to Collision. You got new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. I love Dustin Rhodes. You know my thoughts on Sammy Guevara. I'm just kind of like, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But
at this
still,
point, I'm like, can we just retire the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles because this shit's getting ridiculous.
Oh, that's dope. Light Skin Darius coming through. That's cool. That's cool. But let's talk about that main event. Yeah, sell us Jericho jackets. The Acclaimed going up against FTR. And honestly, if it wasn't for another amazing match this week on television, which we're going to talk about here momentarily, it would have been our match of the week here on PW60 because that was a great tag team match. Of course, as we know, it went 30 minutes. But now we know that at All In, it is going to be a triple threat match for the AEW Tag Team Championship. And speaking of All In, let's run down this amazing card that we have in store for us this upcoming Sunday. Of course, like I say, we now know that's going to be a triple threat tag team. Also, we know what's going on with trios now. What are we calling it? A London Falls ladder match.
London Bridge is falling down.
As we've got House of Black along with the Bang Bang Gang and of course the Patriarchy and a fourth team to be determined this week upcoming on Collision. We also now know the matchup between Darby Allin and Jack Perry will be a coffin match for the TNT Championship. Of course, Orange Cassidy will enter number one in that Casino Gauntlet match. And some of the big matchups. We got Tony Storm, of course, and Mariah May. In my opinion, that's the match of the show. That's what I want to see. That's what's getting my money. Mercedes Moné and Dr. Britt Baker for the TBS Championship. That big matchup, that rematch between Will Ospreay and MJF, of course. And on 0 Hour, big tag match with Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii going up against Stokely and Chris Statlander. And, of course, we talked about it. This is it. It's the final countdown as it's being dubbed. Career versus title, AEW Championship on the line. Swerve Strickland, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. It's all coming to you this Sunday at Wembley, and I'm sure they're going to have some more surprises up their sleeves. But holy shit, All In is looking fucking solid, is it not, my friend?
It's looking sexy. I ain't gonna lie. It's looking sexy.
Son of a bitch.
All right, but real quick, since we know Tony Khan listens, and I know we need to keep moving because we have a lot to talk about.
We do.
Tony Khan, I'm getting real close to the camera here. Okay, this is gonna be intimate. Listen to me. Listen to me good. If I don't get freaking Grado at freaking All In,
preach, brother,
coming out to Madonna.
Reggie's even going out.
I'm gonna do something crazy.
Yep, you're gonna make Reggie mad too. So I agree, my friend. But like I say, All In's gonna be an amazing show, and it is coming to you this Sunday. Well, it's that time of the show. We need to spice things up a bit. So let's go to our good friend Spicy Guac for a spicy take.
Spicy Guac, letting you know that Hangman Adam Page has a career-defining heel run as we speak right now. He wasn't doing it as a face. I got something in my eye. But as a heel, yes, he's spicy. He's getting the chili pepper. He's getting all of the chili peppers.
I gotta tell you, that is a hot take, I think. We're big Hangman fans, so it's interesting to hear. Huge shout out to Spicy too, brother. We know you're not feeling well in the hospital. We wish you well, brother. We're thinking of you and we love you, my friend. But yeah, and I would mark out and sing 100%, bro, 100%, dude. If we can buy all these other songs, you can do Grado and Madonna's Like a Prayer. I'm just
gonna take you there.
Well, let's talk about this huge news announced this week for AEW. Next year's All In is not going to go to London, but it will, in fact, come to Texas. That's right, as All In Texas will take place next July. B-Roll, I think we may have to get our asses to the Lone Star State to check this out. See, and I said, oh, there you're back again. Then he's gone again. But I am really excited to see this. It's cool that they're going to bring it over here, but I do think they're going to go back to London the year after, I believe is the plan. So, but pretty cool they're bringing it to Texas. What do you think of this announcement?
Can you hear me?
Yes. What do you think of this announcement of All In going to Texas? I'm going to take that as you can't hear me. Well,